Hey team, in this video, I want to focus on this challenge. It is the product preview card from Frontend Mentor. And it looks exactly like this. When we're done, we'll have a bit of a hover state and some responsiveness. We can go into a responsive mode. And if we collapse this down, it switches from this portrait size to a horizontal view, okay? Landscape view. So we can do all this. And the cool thing is, if you are watching, here is our card pattern again. We've been working through the card pattern. We are going to use that again here. So we have some cool stuff going, okay? You will find that over on Frontend Mentor's site. If you search for product inside of here, I've already done it once. Let's do it again. And it should be right here, product preview card. And then you can download the assets and get started. I've already taken the liberty of doing that ahead of time, so I am here. And the only thing that I've done is done that initial commit just to save us time, because I've done that in other videos. I don't want to waste your time with it. So we are here, okay? I'm going to open index into Chrome. So here it is. And I'm going to open the code itself into my code editor, which in this case is VS Code. Okay. Inside of index, we can start cleaning this up the way that we always do. So we can get rid of this part and comment out this part. We might want the attribution later on, but for these videos, I like to get rid of it so that it's just a nice clean slate. And then starting at the top, we have perfume. Now, perfume is not the heading. It sits above the heading, kind of like an eyebrow sits above your eye. In fact, a lot of people will, in fact, call this eyebrow. So here it is, eyebrow. Excellent, okay? The next one is definitely our heading, so we're going to do that. We're going to wrap it in an H2, assuming that this is part of a bigger page. You could go with H1 here if you really wanted to, but I'm making the assumption that this is going to be slotted into a part of a page somewhere, okay? So this is our H2 tag. Down here is just a regular paragraph. We can do that really fast. This is also a paragraph. So this is our pricing. We're going to wrap both of these in a P tag, but we're going to call it price. Okay. Whoops, I did that wrong. Let's go back and wrap it with P price. There it is. And then we have these two items. And if we jump over here, you will see that this line, this number has a strike through, okay? We could do that with CSS, but HTML gives us that for free, okay? And anytime HTML gives us something for free, I really like to use it. So I'm gonna wrap this in an S tag. S for strike through, maybe. So there it is, there's our price. And then of course our button, we're gonna wrap up the button. It's going to be button of type equals button, because if you don't add the type, then this could submit a form, okay? And what I mean by that is buttons by default are of type submit. So if this was accidentally placed somewhere into a form, right? Again, I have no idea where you're going to put this, where this might end up. And somebody might put all of this content into a form with the assumption that clicking the button sends a hidden input that adds it to the cart, okay? This way, with type button, that will not happen. So I am squashing that or keeping that from happening ahead of time. If I need to go and change it back later on, I can. But for now, we're going to leave it. Go and wrap it up. This is where we go main, and then we have our article, because it's still kind of like that. This is going to be a class of product like this. And then we have a div of product. There it is, product. Let's type, come on, type right. Product content is what I'm looking for, okay? And here it is, okay? Again, picture. This is going to be product image, right? And inside of here, we're going to have that image tag, which is images, image product mobile. Okay, there it is. That's the whole thing. One more thing, the source, because we do have that. So with a media of min width 500 pixels. Again, why 500 pixels? I made it up. When I was playing with it before, 500 felt right. I definitely try to avoid using these default screen widths, okay? Whether it's your phone or your tablet or your computer, the default screen widths don't mean anything because there is no default. It could be any of 1,000 different screen widths. So use measurements that actually make sense and try to convince your developers, your designers to do the same, okay? The image is going to be this one, but I'm going to change mobile to desktop, like this. Excellent. And I should be able to see that right here, okay? Just like that. If I bring up my responsive mode, I should be able to see this change, and it does, right? We're already winning. We haven't even wrote any CSS yet, and we're already winning, okay? So lots of cool stuff happening here, okay? Switching back, getting rid of that for a second. There it is. Now we can commit, okay? We've added some markup, so git status, git diff if we wanted to see it all, some reformatting, some markup. It's all in there. We can just git add the lot, git commit -m. This is feature product card, add markup. There it is, okay? So it's time for some styles, right? We didn't actually add our style tag. Let's go make sure that that's in really fast right here. It's going to be a link with CSS. That file doesn't exist yet. We can go and add that. Style.css. Excellent. Should probably save this to make sure that it all works. And we can start adding some tokens, right? We've done that in the past. Here are our tokens for today, okay? So at the top, we have our tier 1 tokens. We have some greens, some blacks, some grays, cream and white for the different backgrounds, right? And then we have our default or our tier 2 tokens, which, if I'm being honest, this should probably be down here somewhere where I have a comment that says tier 2. Excellent. Okay, I'll come back to those in a second, but, or no, I'll do them now because why not? We're already on colors. So all these default tokens are being mapped to tokens that we can use in the code. And because I've been learning this, my understanding is this is going to be easier for us to use when we get to the code. We're going to have some text colors, some background colors. Some of these actually repeat, so text primary and background primary, but it makes the finding easier. Okay, so if we have to go and find where we're using background primary, that's going to be very easy for us. Okay, so I map those all out. Then I have some sizing. Thankfully, the designer continues to use 4 or 8 point pixel grids, which is very, very nice. Okay. Radius of large. It's using our spacing token already. We have 2 font families. One is a sans serif, Montserrat, and one is a serif, this Francis. Okay. Francis. Anyway, what do I know? Then we have all of our font sizes. Technically, there's only 4, but we use them all over the place. Couple font weights, a bunch of line heights, right? And one place where we will use letter spacing. So we have that in. Now, all of this font, everything except letter spacing, I have mapped to text presets, okay? So just like before, they had text presets. If we jump over to Figma and the design system, you're going to see that this text preset is Francis. It's bold. It's 32 pixels, 100% line height, and 0 letter spacing. Letter spacing is 0 by default, so we don't need to do anything there, but we have the weight, the size of 32, the line height, and the family, okay? And then we go down for number 2. So this one's 14 with 11, 1.1 line height, and it's our sans font, or Montserrat, right? Number 3, number 4, number 5, they're all in there, and we will use them, okay? Number 5 is actually our uppercase as well. Very, very interesting stuff, okay? And then, of course, our max width, which came directly from the Figma file. So we are in really, really good shape, okay? At this point, because we have all that, we could get the fonts in, right? Let's go and do that. That can be found inside of Style Guide. Scrolling right down, clicking on this link. It's going to take us right there. Yeah, get the font. And then close it because we don't want extra tabs. Francis, it's going to hold on to it. So get that font. Now we have 2, okay? We have the Montserrat and Montserrat. That word doesn't want to work for me, but Montserrat and Francis, there it is. And we can get our embed codes, okay? There are a couple things here. We are never going to use italic, so we can disable that. There will be a few waits for that one. And then Francis is actually a special one. It's got some optical sizing in here, which is pretty cool. But again, we're only using the Roman sizes. Wonky, not wonky. I'll leave it alone. Weights. We only have one weight for this, okay? And it is the 700. It's the bold, right? So let's go and click on 700. Softness we'll leave alone. We have it all. We can just copy this, bring it right back to code, over to HTML, and pasting it in, okay? Now into the styles. We grab this. This one is right here. This is our body. So changing it, body, just like this. This one goes away. This one, technically, yes, get rid of it for a second, and then bring it back. And we're going to do text preset of 2, I believe. No, 3. I almost forgot that again, okay? So text preset of 3. I probably should have given these better names. I think in the future I will. It'll be something like typography heading, typography body, stuff like that. This, I was following the Figma file, but it doesn't quite feel right to me. So we'll come back to that another time. Anyway, moving on. We have background color, okay? Background color is -- color, background, default, okay? That's our nice cream color. And then we have our actual color, which is color, text, also default, okay? So we have it all in there. We can save it. We can start to see stuff right here, okay? So everything is kind of getting in place. Really, really nice, okay? Oh, one more thing that I'd like to do before I commit. I wanted to add the SVG to that button, okay, which is dropping below the level of my screen recording. But I wanted to add the icon to that button. So let's go do that really fast too. Up in images, the icon, right click, open with, text editor, okay? I can format this right here, format, just to make it a little nicer. And I'm going to copy this and close it. You can save it, you don't have to. And then right down here in button, adding it in so that, whoops, play things in the wrong spot. There it is. There is a fill in here. I'm going to leave the fill, but you don't have to. You could actually delete that. I just want to show you that this will still work even if somebody's added a fill in there, okay? You can still make what I'm about to do work. So with that, I should have the icon. It is currently white, so you can't really see it, but we're going to get to that, okay? Stay with me. So let's save it. Okay, we've done a bunch. We better commit it just to make sure. Git status. Git, oh, we aren't going to be able to diff that file. We can diff the HTML though. We added all of this code and the SVG. Excellent. Okay. So git add dot, git commit -m. This is styles. Style. There it is. Add global styles. Brilliant. Okay. We are making it happen. Back to our code. We need our defaults. Okay. We have the body. Let's keep going. I need an H2 in here. That H2 is going to have a color of -- color text heading. There it is. And a font of -- text preset 1. That's it. Because everything else is in there, right? It's all contained inside a font. And one thing that I didn't mention is that this is pretty safe, okay? Because I have declared all of these variables up here, right? They're all declared. It's pretty safe. There are times if you are manipulating or changing things, right? If any one of these kind of fails, then there is a chance that the whole thing would fail. But I feel pretty confident because, again, I've done all the work ahead of time, okay? If you are worried about that, there is a great article over here at matuzo.at, okay? And it is called Maybe Don't Use Custom Properties in Shorthands. And he explains exactly what I just said. If you have a background color that is not set, then instead of going back to the previous set version, it will revert to the browser styles, which in this case, background color would revert to transparent, okay? If you have font, right, with something like font, it is going to revert, if any one of those variables is there, fails here, let's say font weight failed, then the entire declaration would fail. And that could be a bad thing. But again, I have it all up here. So I think we're okay to go. And it's really, really nice that it comes along for the ride. These are called combination tokens, if I remember correctly. I might be misquoting that. On that note, let's keep going. So underneath the H2, I'm going to do an image and a picture. If I could, wow, I keep spelling it wrong. There's something wrong there. There it is. Picture, that is display block and max width 100%. Okay. Just like that. Button. Okay. We have a lot of stuff going into button. So let's try and get this done. First off, the cursor, whether you like it, whether you don't, you can decide. Okay. But cursor or pointer, I'm going to add it in. Background color, which is -- color background primary. There it is. And since we're here, we can also do our hover. Hover, there it is. And focus, okay. Ampersand focus. And background color is going to be -- color primary hover. See, useful names, makes it easy, okay. Moving on, we have color itself, which is, in this case, white. But I want to show you this, okay? That color, if we do it right, we can set it to, say, fire brick. I'm going to come back to this in a second and change it. But let's drop down here for a second. And if there's an SVG inside of here, we can set color, sorry, not color, we can set fill to current color, okay? Don't forget the semicolon. Now you might think that this would work. It absolutely will not. We can go back here and hit refresh and we start to see the color change, but the icon didn't. And that's because I left that fill on, right? If you remember at the start, I said I was going to leave this fill here to prove that I could still make this work. And you absolutely can just by going in here and adding a star, okay? That's all you need. And now we can refresh it. It works. It's brilliant. I think I'm going to, can I just move this a pinch up? Is it? There we go. That way you can see the icon. Okay, so I can change those icons still. And if I need to change the whole theme, this will work now, right? I'm making it more flexible. Okay, let's go and add some other stuff. So changing this back to -- color. Where is it here? Text button. That's the one that I need. Excellent. Moving down, we have font. Font is going to be -- text preset 2. Okay, there it is. It's very weird that they're kind of out of the order on this one, but that's okay. So border of 0, there it is. The reason that we get rid of the border is because once you change one of these things, the background or the border, you need to change both. For buttons, it's weird like that. Just go ahead and do both at the same time. Otherwise, you're going to find a like this really weird angly border on there. Okay, it's uncomfortable. It's old school. Go and get rid of it. Border radius, -- radius, large. Yeah, probably could have named that better, but moving on. And padding. Okay, padding is our spacing token of 200, which is 16 pixels. Okay, we should be able to see some stuff now. Right there, looking pretty shiny, right? We need to line this up a little bit and maybe add some space. We can totally do that in a little bit. Okay. Now, since I'm here, I want to add a ampersand data full width. Okay. And this is an exception. In the cube methodology, this is what's known as an exception. Andy Bell prefers using data attributes because they are very specific. You can have multiple classes, but generally speaking, you can only have one data attribute or one thing for this data attribute, right? There's only ever going to be one value. So it gets hopefully a little bit safe doing it this way, which is why he does it this way. I like it too. So width, 100%, excellent. If you wanted to, you could totally change this to inline size. Back this out. I got extra stuff. Inline size, right? I should be using those. Did I miss any up here? I might have. I'll have to come back to that. But for now, we can go over there. We can come down to the button and go data full width. Save it. Go back. Now we have that nice chunky button. Okay. When we resize this, when we start moving these components around, that's just going to take up whatever width is available. And that's exactly what we want. We're going to come back to the icon a little bit later. Okay. For now, I want to jump into composition, which means that we should probably commit, right? Let's go do that. So git status, git diff. We can see lots of stuff. We changed the button. We had a bunch of default styles looking pretty shiny. So git add dot, git commit -m style add smart globals. Smart globals? Maybe just globals. There we are. Okay. Excellent. Now we need some compositions. Okay. And for this, I'm going to use compositions that I have used before. So there's not going to be a lot of magic here, which means that we can save some time and just paste them in. Okay. This flow comes from Andy Bell. I've talked about that before. Very handy in making sure that our vertical spacing is where we need it to be. The challenge wrapper I've used on a ton of these, like every single one at this point, where it will help us to center the content. So getting that dialed in. And then cluster, we use cluster on, I think, at least one before. And the idea is that it will put them in line with a specific amount of spacing. Okay, that's all it's going to do. It's going to give us this sort of layout. Okay, we have added some extra variables in here so that we can play around with that. But at this point, we can use them. So right up here on main, just like every other time, we're going to add that challenge wrapper. There it is. We don't need it on product, okay? And the reason that we don't need it on product is because we are going to use a different composition for that. But for now, we can move down to product content, put flow on here. And I think that's it. No, let's go down here. This one won't be a flow. It will be our cluster. And then on this button, we also need a class of cluster. Okay. And this is going to start steering stuff around. So now it's all nicely centered. Image isn't right. We'll get to that. Don't worry. That's coming. But you can see that now things are aligned. The icon is aligned. It's not centered, right? It should be over here somewhere. We can take care of that pretty quick by going up here, back to our styles, and it should be justify content, just like this. Copy that. I didn't really need the comma. We can get rid of that in a second. So justify content, and that will be center, okay? Which brings it right there, okay? The other thing that we need is the gap, okay? There's a bit of a weird gap in here where I think, if I can remind myself, right here, it should be, yeah, just 8 pixels, okay? And I have it set a little bit bigger than that. So again, back down, the cluster space, which was 16 pixels, but I want that to be only 8. So dash dash space 100, okay? Which makes it just a little bit nicer, okay? Again, we're going to come back to this number. We are not forgetting it, but I want to take it a piece at a time, okay? Good time to commit. Let's do that. Git status, git diff. Yeah, we added some wrappers, right? And then we added all of this stuff along with some controls. We are cooking with fire. So git add dot, git commit dash m. This is style. Add compositions. Brilliant. Okay. Back to it. We need some block styles. Okay. We should start styling this up, getting our background in there. So we can start doing that all the way down here. That's going to be product. Okay. And on product, we need our background color, which is, yeah, it's white, but we have a variable for that, right? That's going to be background card. And then inside of here, we have border radius as well. We only have the one radius, but again, trying to make it in a way where we might have more, right? And because of the way that images work, we need overflow hidden, which should, if we go back here, refresh, now everything is a little bit rounded. It's getting there, right? We're starting to add to it. Keep flipping to the wrong thing. That's okay. Down here, okay, we have product image. So just like this, we don't actually do anything to the product image itself. We only operate on the image tag, okay? And that's going to be 100% width. Let's do it right, okay? Since I'm here, this is going to be block size 100%. Inline size 100%. Excellent. Object fit of cover, okay? And that ensures that when we start moving things around, the image will always fill its box, okay? Whatever container it's in, it's going to try and take up as much space as possible, okay? And then down here, dot product content. Okay, and we only need one on here. We just need the padding. Okay, that's it. It's going to be dash dash space 400, which is 32 pixels. Okay, so going back, refreshing, everything's starting to take shape. We should try to figure out how to get this image next to this content. And for that, we're going to use a new composition. This composition comes from, again, Piccalilli, right? It's a lot of these compositions come from Andy Bell for the moment because he created Cube CSS. So he's putting in the work, but he has this really great article, Simple Masonry Like Composable Layout. And in here, he talks about how he went about using some of his compositions from every layout to get this done. So he has this switcher right there. I've I've been highlighting it, right? And there's the flow, right? We've already used flow, but maybe we can use this switcher. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So way down here, he does a really good walkthrough. I recommend you do it. It was also historically known as the Holy Albatross from Hayden Pickering. Very interesting name for a very useful bit of code. Here it is, okay? Copy that, bring it all the way back. Let's put it underneath cluster, okay? Excellent. Now, I want to build into this just a little bit, okay? Because some of these, it might be that you have a default gutter, and that works. But I want to make sure that I can control this later. So I'm going to switch to switcher gutter. I'm going to set it to 0. That way I can control it wherever I am, okay? Vertical alignment should be here, except flex start. I don't know. Should it be stretch? Should it be flex start? We can leave it for a moment. And then down here, everything else is good, okay? At this point, we can use it. We go over here, find our product, and this is where we would have used flow, but now we are using this switcher, okay? And moment of truth, nothing. What did I mess up? Oh, you know what? I totally know what I messed up. It is right here. This is a huge measurement, okay? It should actually be something smaller. For now, I'm going to do 500 pixels because that's what we have been doing. In real life, I would go through and change all these to rem as well. Just don't want to do it right now, okay? So, refresh, and there it is. You will notice some things. One, the image is not extending. That's very weird to me. We're going to have to take a look at that. Maybe I misspelled something, but at least it's side by side, right? And that button is taking up the full width of this container, right? It's starting to take shape. So let's go figure out what's going on with product image. Did I do something wrong? Product image. I'm sure that's the right name. Product image. Switching back for a second. We have width. We have height. That was actually backwards, but doesn't matter much. Where is that hiding? I totally know what I did wrong. I left. So when I was practicing this before, I actually did switch this to stretch. So we need to take this right here, this vertical alignment, drop it down onto product, okay, because that's where we're using it, and use it as stretch, which is technically the default. Very weird that, but there we go. Now the question of why isn't it centered? Because in the Figma file, it is, okay? It's half and half, and we definitely want that here, okay? We also set it to be that, right? The way that this works, this Holy Albatross, it either has a really big number times 999, a really big number, or a really small number, okay? And when it's really big, it's going to be 100% because it cannot be any bigger than 100%. When it's really small, it's going to be less than 0. It can't be less than 0, so it's going to be 0. And that's how this works. So when it is here, let's switch to our responsive mode. This should just work right about here, okay? And it does. It looks pretty shiny, okay? But over here, it doesn't. And the reason that it doesn't is because of how it calculates the padding in regards to the container. With Flexbox, this is a weird one. I had to go and look this up. But with Flexbox, if you have padding on a flex basis of 0, which is what this would be when it's side by side, okay? Flex bases of both these are flex bases of 0, then it takes the content, sizes it out, and then adds the padding. I don't really understand why that does that. That is so curious to me. The solution is really simple. Our compositions are designed to be containers, right? We shouldn't really be adding a lot of sizing parameters to them. So the solution is just to go into HTML, find that product content div all the way down, and wrap it in another div. Okay. So I didn't even need to give this one a class. It doesn't matter. It's just the container for all that is in here. Okay. Save that again, go back, refresh, and now it is square. Now it is plumbed up. Okay. So that this is half and this is half. We are in really good, really good place. The place doesn't want to come out of my mouth. We're in a really good place here. Okay. So now that we have that, and it does work, we can collapse this. Okay. There is a small thing here. We'll take care of that in a second, but okay. We have this. So at a certain point, it just snaps to vertical. Okay. As for why the image doesn't change, well, that's because it's not 500 pixels yet. And you'll notice that right about here, 524, it's here. And then at 523, if I just go and change this, it's vertical. So 524 is here, 523, 524, 523. Okay. That's the whole math. There is 24 pixels of space hiding somewhere. And that space is actually hiding right on the sides. Okay. So when we did this, I'm going to make this 100% again. But when we did this, we had it so that there would be 12 pixels on this side, 12 pixels on this side. Okay. That came out of the Figma file way over here. So I looked at this and it said 12 pixels. I'm assuming that 13 is a rounding error. Okay. And I did that. I made it 12 pixels. 12 plus 12, 24. So what we need to do is create a magic number. I hate that we have to do it, but it is the easiest way. So our gap is 0. Our vertical alignment, we need this right here. Okay. This one, we go and grab it. And then on the product, back to the product, right? We already had stretch. We go in here and we say 500 minus 24, which is 476 pixels. Okay. And with that, now it should work. So at 500, right here, it's going to switch. See? Really, really slick. I like that a lot. If we didn't need to worry about this, then we could actually just let the browser do whatever it wanted and nobody would be the wiser. But because we have that image in there, we need to do a little bit of funkiness. Okay. Let's go and commit. Git status. Come on. There it is. Git diff. I have no idea what it is doing here. This is sometimes Git just does weird things with its diff log, but we did add the switcher. We added a bunch of stuff. Looks like I haven't committed in a while. Git add dot git commit -m. This is style for the product card. Product card. There it is. Add block styles, block and composition styles. Okay. Could I have done that better? Yeah, absolutely. But we are almost done. So let's sort some stuff out. Okay. There are only a few more things, and what they are the eyebrow and the pricing classes. Okay. So let's go do those together. Right down here, the eyebrow. Okay. Dot eyebrow. That is this bit of text right here. Okay. So that little bit of text, we're going to take care of it. It is font of -- text preset 4. And this is where we're using our letter spacing, which is -- letter spacing +5. Yes. And text transform uppercase. Okay. So there's that. You'll notice that things jump around a little bit. That is okay. And then down here, we have our price. Okay. And inside of price, again, we have font, which is going to be dash dash text preset 1 again, right? It's that big chunky font. And then our color, which is dash dash color text primary. Primary. There it is. Extra stuff going on there. That's okay. We also need to style the S inside of it. Otherwise, everything will go. Okay. So again, if we look at this, now everything is huge. We don't really want that. Let's go and make it right. So right here, we are going to add in font, dash dash text preset 5. This is our 5th and last preset. Okay. Again, color, it's going to be dash dash color text. Whoops. Text default. That's the one that we want. Why is it throwing? I have something else here. What's going on? Oh, I see. It's this. Excellent. Refresh. Now it is the right color. Okay. And the strike through. Everything is lining up. The only thing left to do is take care of some spacing here. Okay. So way over here on this one, we have 24, which is our default spacing. That's what it currently is. But over here on the larger sizes, it is 32. Okay. So we need to take care of that when it is bigger, right? This is at media query. We're going to do min, where is it? Min height, min width. My editor is playing games there. 500 pixels. And right here, now we add dash dash flow space of semicolon dash dash space 400. Okay. This kind of works. We can kind of see this happen. Okay. It drills down, but we need to take care of the bottom as well. So the easiest way to do that is just to wrap this up. So we're going to get that ampersand. We're also going to get ampersand plus whatever comes after it. The plus star means the immediately following one. Okay. If I did this right, let's get the right one. Okay. So the current one plus whatever the next one is. And drop this right up here. That way we don't have to write it twice. Okay. Save it, refresh it. Everything is nice and snappy. We go here and it looks pretty shiny, you know. I like it a lot. It's looking really, really good. We have the hover effect. Hard to see the hover effect because, hey, I'm in responsive mode, but the final test is to compare the image, right? So get status, type it right, status, get diff, the eyebrow, the price, absolutely. Get add dot, get commit dash M. This is style for, come on, price. There it is. Okay. Add eyebrow and price styles. Excellent. Okay. Open. Let's go find it. I got extra stuff here. There it is. So in the design, the desktop, just like before, I'm going to open it into clean shot. I'm going to crop it down a little bit just to make sure that I don't have to worry about any of that. There it is. Pin it so that it hovers over everything and set it to here. Okay. Back to the browser. And it is pretty close. Annoyingly close, isn't it? Well, here's the deal with this, okay? Just in case you're wondering, it's actually right, okay? But this image is not. This is one of those things where it's like, oh man, what is going on? And it took me a while to figure it out, but they updated their Figma file. They made some changes. They actually made it easier to use, but they didn't update this image. And so what we actually need is to go over here. I've already, inside of Figma, I could have grabbed this, okay, gone down, exported, which I did actually export it as 2x, okay? So right over here, opening this again with, where is it? Clean shot, okay? Cropping, bringing it in just so it's not taking up all the space. There it is. Pinning it, making this one 50% because it is 2 times the size. So the zoom is 50% and the opacity is 50%. Going all the way back, lining it up, and now it is that much closer. I could spend time kind of playing around with this, but there it is, okay? So, what have we done? Well, we took on the challenge, right? We took on this challenge over here, which was the product preview card challenge. And the key here is that it is another card. So when we set up our markup, way over here, here's the image, here's the content, okay? I wrapped it in another div, but here's the content, here's the picture, right? It's still a card, still that card pattern. Everything inside of here just kind of works. And then we started styling it out. So I've been exploring tokens a lot more. So I got a lot of tier 2 tokens set up to make that work. I even went here. There is a danger, of course. I will link to Matuzo's article. Very good reading. But again, because I've covered my bases up here, I feel like this is pretty safe. Okay, at least for this example. Then flowing down the page, we added our globals. We explored a new composition called the switcher. Okay, that allows it to, at a certain size, flip without needing a media query. Right? Where's the media query? We don't need it because this bit of math here, this Holy Albatross, does all the magic for us. Okay, it is devilishly simple. Okay. Maybe not simple, but very, very interesting stuff. Okay. And then everything else, we did a little bit for product and a little bit for the eyebrow, and we knocked it out the door. Okay. And it looks awesome, I think. Okay. It works. It's responsive. It even has that responsive images from the smaller image to the bigger image, right? It all just works. It's pretty brilliant that way. And that's it. That brings us to the end of this one. Did you have any questions? Would you have done it a different way? Do you hate everything about this? Do you like everything about this? I want to know, right? I want to hear your thoughts. I want to keep that conversation going. As always, I've been forgetting this, but please hit the like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff, right? That way you get my newest videos as soon as they come out. But for the moment, we're done. We did it. It took us a little bit longer than I would have liked, but we explored some really interesting concepts, especially that switcher, right? I'm going to link to that in the description, and you should definitely check that out. It's good stuff. Until next time, have a good one.